Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Welcome, pre-market here at SpartanTrading.com. It's Wednesday. Welcome to those of you joining us on our live YouTube stream. This is what we do Monday through Friday. As long as the market is open, we discuss macros, overnight issues, news. Well, you know the drill. Earnings, right? But I'll be honest with you. I mean, that whole Google takedown to me is just pretty absurd, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so what did we have? So overnight, we did have a draw on the API crude, but I mean, look, this is the bottom end of the range, okay? We're really, really close. And the risk reward now is for someone like myself, because I deal in quadrants, this is when I basically start to trim my hedges, which would be the SCO. So we'll see. I don't know. It's an interesting time. And here you have overnight, Japan, a little bit better. This is a final, a little bit better than expected. Well, better than reported, I should say, a little bit lower. IFO business out of Germany, a little bit better than expected, and better than expected. Okay. 15-year gilt auction, 4.87, still just whipping away. And here's the Bund, and that's 305. That also is much higher. And then we have here the illustrious 30-year mortgage, which is going to be at, whatever. Okay. And then you can see applications, it's you would have to have, well, I don't even know what would make me want to buy a house at this point in time. But anyways, refi is up, and then yada, yada, yada. And then we have our new home sales, 10 o'clock stuff. And then look at here, Powell speaking, 435. Okay. I guess he's sneaking it in under the wire. Yeah, okay. Earnings. So we had Microsoft who knocked the ball out of the cover, and I kind of like that a lot. And this whole Google thing, come on, if you look at the numbers, seriously, if you look at the beginning of the year, what their cloud number revenues were and where they are, they're still robustly up. Okay, from beginning of the year, their cloud numbers. So they actually were able to retain most of the gains that they've made on the cloud side. I don't know. That's my story, sticking to it. Right, Boeing came out, and I guess when you're thinking about it, right, it was the sky didn't fall because everybody looks for a shoe to drop when it comes to Boeing, right? So we have Meta, we have IBM, so that's gonna be fun, right? And then we have Amazon, and well, anyways. Oof. Okay, so what do we got? So today is kind of interesting. A lot more misses than we've seen in a while. I mean, but as you can see, but lots of gains, green, but more than we expected. And we're seeing more lowering guidance today than we've seen in a while. Progressive, POG, TMHC, always guidance, and a lot of lowering guidance. So that's kind of a little bit different look today. And you can see Europa, VOT, always guidance. And Boeing, like I say, was missed top, beat bottom, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what I can say about that. Fear and greed index, nothing to be done here simply because it's not in the low 20s into the teens. All right, so here you go. Fantastic. Like I say, this is kind of what I was hoping from. And it was interesting because I was underweight Google, and then I was overweight on the equity side, and then I was overweight Microsoft. And then I had hedges on both. And anyways, so China stocks values, Qi, step up economic support. Look, there's no shock and awe. Okay, until you will know when you see shock and awe. Ergo, for me, That's why I told you I was trimming. I want to buy when nobody wants to buy, and I want to sell when nobody wants to sell. And the reality is, the retail was buying FX signers and all that doesn't, A-shares and FX signers and all that's not going to go well. But a little bit of a pullback in the market. We'll see. I mean, but you know what? They have to do a lot more. Yeah, I just can't reiterate this enough. They're not doing enough. I call bullshit when it comes to anything with the United States and China in terms of any discussions or whatever. Okay. The playing field's already been set pretty well. I mean, now all of a sudden no one's gonna believe it. I know this sounds crazy, but I mean, no one's gonna believe it. Okay. You say one thing and then a week later you do something totally different 2 weeks later. Right? It's whatever. All right, so let's take a look here. This is one of the scanners I use. So you can see here, these are unusual stock options, the volume. Okay, and you can see here, STNE, true, well, that was, INSM, right? Okay, you can see what's going on here. Obviously, this was, a lot for STNE. And all right, so that's that. And this is the unusual options activity. And you can see this is a different look, right? You can see coin, right? And this is basically just volume-based stuff that we're seeing. Okay. And anyways, that's what that looks like. Balance. Okay, so Ackman, kudos to the dude. He basically, made good money on his short on the bonds. Now he's covered, and that kind of put a little bit of a floor in the market right now on the bond side. But I still maintain and continue to say that if you're going to see sovereign selling, this just is a tough period. Okay. And now what you have going on right now is the funding cycle. Okay. And I showed you this a couple of weeks ago that the funding cycles could be longer dated than the front end. Right. So the term premium. So there's one of the guys that I follow. He's really bright and talks about all these types of things, and goes into great detail. I'll show you his Twitter account, but really bright guy, and basically the reason why they're doing that is because the term premium. It's advantageous for them to go farther out. Okay. Snaps, war warning. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. Okay. Weapons flood the West Bank. What's been set in motion will not stop anytime soon. That's the facts. How we move forward is going to be a big deal. So we don't know Mike Johnson now. Okay, they can't get Emma. Didn't have the vote, so he says, "What the hell? I'm not going up for a vote to be knocked down." Okay, so who's this? Okay, Louisiana. I don't know what to tell you. The house is frozen. We know that. Just level of, this is a problem. So, that. Whatever, Sun and Moon will come up. Anyways, earnings focus, tech talk, Alphabet, Meta sued. We know that. UAW strikes. This is a throwback. This is leadership issues in the UAW. Old guard. I mean, because this reminds me of the 50s, 60s, what's going on right now. It's 70s. Fuel concerns, just anyways, and it's still no updates, whatever. That's it. Okay. So seriously, 8.41 billion versus 8.64 billion. Okay. Look at the beginning of the year. What was their cloud revenue? Not at 8 billion. This is what really kind of ticks me off, is that this is seriously. Anyways, whatever. Gets me mad. European stocks are testing major technicals. Let's see if it holds. We know. What else we got going on here? Blue chip debt has posted losses in the last 2 quarters. Bond bust. I don't know. Manufacturing, you can see that. All right, so basically the chief business economist out of S&P Global Morgan Intelligence is basically saying we're going to have a soft landing. That's the Reader's Digest version of that. PMI, pretty neutral there, right? Bond yields rise at the fastest pace, and yeah, it's not your imagination. This is what double tightening looks like, friends. When you basically draw down your balance sheet and you raise and you hike rates. Okay, this is why everyone, and this is going to get louder and louder and louder. You are going to hear a lot of people, a lot of important people coming out against the central banks. Okay, you're going to see a lot of outcry because this is ridiculous what they've done, and they've accomplished nothing. They're not getting to 2%, period, exclamation point, deal with it. 3.5, I think, is a great target level. If they came out and said that they're putting the 2% on pause, Good morning. Good morning, son. How are you? Good. How are you doing? Good. I'm glad. Good. Have a good day? Good. You want to say hi to my friends? Okay. Yeah. All right. Go have a good day. I'll see you when you get home, okay? Okay? Okay. Bye. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Okay. So, yeah, I'm in T-Mobile too. Yeah, we'll see. Like I say, this is where people who don't know, look, there was a paradigm shift, and the computer models, okay, the ones that they've been using, do not properly reflect that 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. Okay, this is the problem. Bye. What's the matter?
I said for him to help me with them.
Oh.
He's out of them and he doesn't want to carry it.
Help her, please. Thank you. Okay, moving on. I don't know what that is. Anyways. All right. Market share of cloud services, 11%. Okay, I understand it, but seriously, look, Microsoft, Amazon's top dog than Microsoft. Amazon should have good numbers, I would think. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, my son didn't want to do something. Okay, anyways, so Amazon should be good, I would think, right? I don't know. We'll see. Mortgage, well, no data, right? Countries, Africa, we see the largest portion of aid of any regional in 2020. I don't know. Let's move on. Nope. Okay. So Enrique is really excited about cryptos. Okay. I don't know about, anyways. He's looking for a monster rally into year-end in both cryptos and equity. That's what he's looking for. I don't know. Are you watching Bitcoin and crypto subsequent? Yeah, if you don't, yeah, whatever. All right, so this is a guy, Andy Constant, okay? Really, really bright. Even Tommy Lee follows him, okay? So basically, he has this narrative going on in terms of, the term premium, okay, and why like I say, if you want to really get down and dirty on some of this stuff, okay, you need to go and look at his posts and stuff like, because he really does a very articulate understanding of what's going on in terms of the buybacks and everything that's happening on the bond side, in terms of yield curves, what matters, that wasn't matter. And a lot of it has to do with term premium. Okay, all right, well, we're back. Someone really has to explain this to me, please. Thank you. I mean, someone really has to explain this to me. So DTC, it's almost as, I don't know, I don't want to say anything nefarious happened yesterday, but something's not right. Something's not right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Something's not right when they shut down and they delist it, and then all of a sudden it's back again. Something not right. Okay? Something not right. Our largest banks are now, okay, leaders from some of the world's largest banks are now speaking out against central banks and are sounding alarms about debt levels. Okay, hallelujah. It's about time you basically got on your pedestal and start yelling at these people. Okay, they are doing the money tightening is a big deal. Okay, I show you to you almost every day the money supply issues going on right now in terms of the tightening on liquidity issues. This is a problem, okay? This is a problem. And it's going to come to really haunt them. It's warning that the world is at a tipping point on debt that threatens to spark global reckoning after years of government borrowing binges. Okay, well, HSBC, I know, but anyways. Okay, so once again, okay, we get to the construct of assets, right? In terms of, equity, different asset classes, okay? I still think, and I continue to think, that in terms of this is the day of reckoning. I don't know when it happens, but this is what it's going to be, okay? And I don't know when it happens, how it happens, but it's a problem. Okay, it could be next year. I don't know. Okay, hit hard. I just don't know. Okay. China says the United States is the biggest disruptor of regional peace and stability in the world. Okay, there you go. Look, they just, okay. So this is from Tommy Boy's site. Okay, here you go. He's walking the walk and talking the talk. Is he back from his Vegas trip? He must be. It tells you a lot right there. Okay. Let's see what happened yesterday. This is it. Spy cues. Google. All right, so there's no doubt about this, that the poll in Google, okay, is going to get the week longs out. And let's see what happens with who comes in and starts buying. Like I said, this was a total overreaction. This makes no sense to me for the stock to be down the way it's down. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'll know by the longer dated options that I'm in what they look like. Thank goodness I trimmed some more of my stuff yesterday, but still, I mean, I have some XLC puts on, but anyways. What do we got? Boeing rises after plane maker keeps cash flow targets. Tower Semi gets buy rating. Boeing and because T-Mobile, what? All the boxes. Norfolk Southern misses. Blackstone Mortgage buys up. Anyways, that's what it looks like, friends. Google, this is a buying opportunity. I agree. We'll see. The devil is in the details. I agree. Well, let's see what she has to say here. She's really right. I'll look at that later. So trying to introduce regulations. I agree with this 100%, I'll be honest with you. I mean, but I've been talking about this. I mean, the access that these kids have to some of this stuff is ridiculous. Okay, I mean, as a parent, if I were raising my kids today, they wouldn't be liking me much. Okay. Newsom is coming in to meet California. Oh, this is the biggest trading, right? 6K, whatever, electrical Chinese scientists make history by winning the US top physics prize. The US top physics prize. Okay, cool. First Chinese physicist, most prestigious prize. Pretty cool, right? Anyways, let's see what's going on here. Look, I mean, there's not going to be anything. I mean, it's all about the devil in the details right now. So everybody's pretty much status quo right now. The only way we get to where this is, as far as I'm concerned, is that this whole debacle in terms of on the financial side, in terms of debt, etc., comes to fruition. Okay. And we're basically forced with a similar, not the same, but still powerful financial crisis, global, because of the debt, what's going on in the balance sheet and all this stuff. Okay, where central banks are forced to basically cut rates. That's the only logical answer to this question. I mean, how the hell do we get these cuts? Something bad has to happen. Right? Yes? No? Right? Okay. I mean, it's all about logic. Okay, upgrades, Chewy, Michael, UBS, 80% stud, Nicole Studette, 80% Pico, 36% hold to buy. I mean, okay, and you know, basically Roger posted all the. I mean, this is a no-brainer in terms of what's going on with Google, right? I mean, do. All right, here we go. Alphabet, Stanley, maintains overweight, maintains overweight. I mean, that's what we got. The other one that's really important, the Seaport Global, I don't know who they are, but they've got some really, these analysts are pretty successful. I don't know, we'll see. Let's see what's going on the downgrade side. What do we got? Albemarle continues. I mean, I can't get excited about that. Anyone? I don't know. Okay, CFG, System 5 Corning, obviously, the earnings came out by the whole, but you know, look, higher price, CVGO, higher price. True, well, whatever, you know that, and then Fitch, for Fitch. Initiations, what are that? Palo Alto. Yeah, the stock's flat. Sigh there, Alex. Jeffries. I love the potato. I'm a chipaholic. That's why I don't have them in the house, because I'm a chipaholic. Anyways, moving along. All right, so I thought we'd do a little bit of something interesting here. Okay, so this is the NASDAQ, right? This is an 85% success rate going forward, 90 days, right? 20 years out. I wish they had more, but they don't. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Monster, Honeywell, Clack, Intel. Seriously, that's what it looks like. Okay, now we start to get a little bit more breadth. Clack, Intel, Mondelez, Intuit, Fastenal, right? But still, MNST. I'm probably going to buy some of the Monster. Okay, here you go. Nothing. Okay, nothing. With an 85% success rate. Now, November, that's when NVIDIA comes in. You can see what's going on in glass stores. Okay. Now, if you modify that, then obviously you can see that there's more to the list. Okay, obviously, right? Illumina, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can see here, NVIDIA's on the list at 80% success rate. Okay, so it's all about what your expectations are and what you perceive to be realistic in terms of a filter rate. Okay, so as you can see, if I want to switch it from 85 to 80, look at all the stuff that populates on it. Okay, and that's not a bad list, right? If you look at ASML, don't forget we obviously have with the semis, strength, right? And then you can see NVIDIA's top dog, dogette, till the end of the year going on. Like I say, don't mess with semis this time of year. It's really hard for any long-term short position in it more than, intraday sort of thing. All right, here's the XLK, and this is the breadth. Okay, we're at the point where we should hold. Okay, everything's predicated on this, right? As you can see, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year out, all bullish, nice statistical win rate, okay? But, this is going back to 1992, and you can see here that it's 100% 1 year out, 83% 6 months out. Not so, well, a little bit short dated, but, look, when you add on top of this a set of geopolitical macro risks that we haven't seen before, okay, well, we have seen before, but not in a long time. How's that sound? Okay, then this kind of puts a thumb on the negative side. That's why, the risk reward, this is why I continue to be in cash levels. This is why I continue to be in hedge. That does not mean I don't have risk on. That only means that it's very, very controlled risk. And I'm willing to give up. So like with Microsoft, okay, I have hedges on, but my exposure basically with Microsoft, it's basically 2 to 1. All right, so I'm long 2 to 1. Okay, so I mean that kind of tells you what I'm thinking right now. Google, I only had a 0.25% position on. Okay, so now I brought it up to a 1% position. Okay, so that kind of tells you what I've been doing. All right. All right. I don't know how. Look, this is like, I mean, this goes back to 1928. We haven't seen anything like this. Okay, in terms of the small caps. 14, 15, 16. I mean, literally. I mean, no, but I mean, 1930. Sorry. And it statistically doesn't give it anything. That's even more dramatic construct here. Is that statistically, you would think that this would be, but no. I mean, nothing. This is S&P after the first year from low with best small cap relative returns. Okay, 1 month out. That's it. Right? I mean, I don't know what to tell you here. Okay, this is just crazy. Look at this. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is why I'm saying that we live in a different paradigm. It's a different world. And it's great to go back in time and say, well, statistically, X, Y, Z. But the reality is what we're facing is not the same. And you have to factor in when you're using seasonality, that reality. Okay. So what am I doing? I'm doing butterflies. I mean, I've been doing a lot of butterflies in the room, and we've had a really good success rate with these butterflies. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay. I mean, like I say, we'll see. I don't know. Okay. I just don't know right now. Right. And as long as, if I don't know, action plan for me is I have risk on, but it's mitigated, and I have basically hedges / equity cash. That's what it means to me. Okay. Bonds are bouncing. They're not extended yet, but be careful. We're getting there. Okay. So if you've been trading this stuff, if you look here, guys, you buy down here, you sell up here. That's what's been working really well, right? Within that range. Okay. All right. So here we go. I mean, obviously, right? You can see here, short time frame, 3-5 days, obviously, still extended to the downside. Okay. And then if you look at the 10, not so much. Okay. All right. This is a conundrum for me, obviously, but you can see we're making lower highs. Not a good look. All right, let's see what happens here if we can bounce. Okay. I don't know. Okay, this is another thing I don't know. So when you have these such a narrow marketplace, and the leaders of that narrow marketplace, okay, start to get a little bit of. So I mean, Netflix, Microsoft, right? Fantastic, right? But don't forget, the only rebalance that happened was the Qs. Nobody else rebalanced. Okay, so you've got these overweights, okay, in these areas. That's why I put on XLC puts, because it was the cheapest way for me to reflect Meta and Google. Okay. I mean, that's kind of what you have to understand right now. Just a second, guys. I apologize. I'll be back in just 2 minutes. Okay. Hold on a second. I apologize. Okay, so we still have this little, you know what, cluster F of for this week, and then we have seasonality coming in again. Okay, that's the lesson. I mean, look, the reality is right now, the SPX is so much more vibrant than the NDX. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but anyways, let's take a look here. Bonds, yield curve, obviously, right? Big deal. I mean, look, I mean, one day does not, like I say, every day is a really different day. Front end, you can see, is down, and then obviously the longer dated stuff is up. Okay. I think the range holds for now, FYI. Obviously, Asia, overseas is all rates up. Okay. All right, here we go. This is inflation. We're back down into this. I mean, this goes back to 1915. Okay. And if you wanted to, we could. Right there. Okay. This is kind of like, you can see what I'm trying to do is get to the okay. Okay. So kind of at the mid. This is why I keep saying that, 2%, seriously, I don't think that's realistic. Okay. 3% would be better. Is GDP. Look, the reality is productivity. The reality is productivity. So that's the thing that can offset a lot of woes. Okay. So we'll see. And we got the PCE trim, and we're basically at the mid on it, the PCE trim, going back in time. Okay. We'll see. Like I say, I really, It's just a lot more complicated than everybody kind of looks like. And this is my fan favorite. This is how, look at the spread here, friends. Okay, this goes back to 1988. Okay, there's never been a spread this wide between the 30-year bond and the 30-year mortgage. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're going back to 1988, but anyway, you should get the gist of what I'm saying. Okay. Crazy, really upsetting. All right, 2-5, like, oh, well, we are breaking out a little bit. Let's see what happens here with this. Okay. Really crazy move. Look at that. From the double bottom down here. That's a, well. Here's the 5-10. See if that continues to steepen. Ugh, what is that? I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it keeps doing that. Okay, and here we see this is the yearly, right? And you can see here, we do have this pivot right here, right? So we have this zone here, but, and we're right here, you can see right here on this pivot. See what happens here. That's not what I wanted. Here's the 1030. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a downtrend line that goes back to 2021. We, as you can see here, we have not closed above it. We've pierced it, but we have not closed above it. If we do, that's a big deal in terms of the yield curve. Okay. Right. So keep an eye on that. This is actually the Chinese US 10-year spread. So Chinese yields, not going anywhere. German yields, holding the breakout. Let's see what happens here. This is a monthly, right? And then what's the German, let's see, is this up to date yet? October, yeah. So they're actually, they also continue to be winding down their balance sheet, okay? And that's basically, you have to understand how this works, okay? Obviously with the, you know, ECB, but that's 18% on their balance sheet, okay? So I don't know what to tell you, okay? Dollar, breakout, whatever. Seriously, okay. Anyways, moving forward. And here you have this. Okay. Cryptos. Up, down, all around, right? Gold down, silver down, copper down, platinum, palladium up, crude up, natty gas up. I mentioned yesterday natty gas to everybody. Looking. It's working. So when you're dealing in commodities, this is why it's really important. And I really think it's important everybody understand that. Whatever you do it well, do it often, and that becomes muscle memory. And then you basically, this muscle memory inside your brain, something just gives you a niggle here and there and tells you, well, you don't know why, but you see something and it says, okay, maybe I should buy this or maybe I should sell this. So, okay. That's what I said about Boyle. I said, I can't tell you what net gas. I said, I cannot tell you why. This, but I think it goes higher. All right, so this actually looks like maybe 50-50, 60-40. All right, let's take a look at DBA. Still holding up well. DBC still holding up fine. Data gas. Okay, we got that 3026 that I'm watching. Okay, that would actually be bullish on a monthly. I'm not actually, because I'm already up to 2% and I don't have much of a hedge on. So I kind of am going to I'm not gonna add right now. Where I would probably add or take off some of the hedge would be right here on the monthly, that 321. Okay, good. What do we got? This is the bottom end of the range, period, exclamation point. This is where basically you sell up top here. This is where I look to buy. So what does that mean for me? That means that I will start to sell some of my SEO hedges. Okay. Literally that simple. Okay. Here's the gold crude. Actually, let's look at the oh, wait, what the? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's look at our spread here. Okay, so this is really interesting, right? So we'll keep an eye on this. So we're kind of at the mid right now. So there's no real, it's neutral. So there's no, but it was interesting how it bounced off here. Okay, we'll see how this plays out. This is a heavily traded spread domestically and overseas. You have to understand with commodities, the reason why these I talk about these spreads is because it removes the US dollar and it's literally a commodity trade. Okay, strength, weakness. That's all. If you don't understand that, okay, then you're going to be lost a lot of times in terms of what's happening, because a lot of the times it's these spreads going on. Okay, so here's gold, still doing fine, but I mean, you can see right now it looks kind of like this is it right now. So this is kind of the range we got going on right now. Okay, this will be a multi-month, multi-year breakout if we pop the top. I swoon over this. Now, last time I was this excited was back here when we had this triple bottom here on gold. This is when I loaded up, overweighted, then we sold, trimmed. Now I got back in it. I've trimmed a lot of it because we're into resistance. I really cannot add to this right now, to be honest with you, unless we take out this triple top here on the multi-year triple top, and that's a momentum trade. Okay, all right. Dow is up, tech is down, small caps, the drill. VIX is kind of flat. Europe's up a little bit. FTSE's down. China's up. Right. The H shares are down. Right. Nifty 50's down. India down. Okay. Right. DAX bouncing off this key pivot level, as in key pivot level. Right?
Alrighty, Beth, ready to pop on here. Alrighty, guys, what's going on? So, unfortunately, I just did the notes and they didn't save. So, I'm just gonna quickly redo them while we're talking here. But anywho, if you guys are new to chat and haven't done so, make sure you click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're gonna pop into chat. It's gonna look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do pop in, click on that disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section and scroll to the very, very top of the section. You see a link to the disclaimer as well as this risk reward section. Make sure to check out both. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels work on the left hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. Important in order to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Continue to scroll down. We have the Options rules will be used Monday to Thursday, regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. Important to check that out as well. SPX rules that we use every single day for the SPX ideas. So if you're going to be following along on the SPX ideas, definitely worth checking out there as well. Continue to scroll down. We have any of the small account less than 10K, breaking down and give a smaller account less than 10K. Here's some rules, information, discipline you put in place so you can better manage your account. In our opinion, from a small account standpoint, and then how to pick ideas from an options or equity standpoint right below there. And then last but not least, high conviction small account trades posted in that area when they do make sense. All right, so let's take a look at what we got going on today. And I'm just gonna quickly hit enter on these. Missing one. At the redo them. Accidentally deleted. So we got Tesla, Microsoft, Google, ASP, Vicker, and then BTAI. So Tesla gapping down slightly to the market. Microsoft gapping up on earnings. Google gapping up on earnings. That Vicker gapping down on earnings. And BTAI gains an independent audit validates Alzheimer's trial. So gapping up on that. And then this ASPA. Gapping up on earnings. Literally right before I had entered it, deleted on accident, which pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Right. So and then ASPA gapping up on earnings as well. So let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first and foremost, let's quickly just take a quick look at the SPY here. The market in general, guys, pretty much flat from last day, gapping down slightly. I think one of the most important things that we saw was obviously gap fill of the extension on the intraday chart or the daily chart, which we got to keep an eye on this little 422.37 level, because if we can get above there, then we're going to be back above EMA support on the daily, which hasn't happened for quite some time. So we're going to keep an eye on that, right out the gate today. And if we do see it reclaim, then I'm thinking we can see a continued bounce there. So see what happens in that regard. But let's start with the first two guys. We got Tesla and that Microsoft. Let's have a gander at those. So Tesla, Microsoft, Tesla, guys. Now it's, I guess, kind of pushing almost back up with the market there. Still gapping down slightly though. Pivot to the upside today is going to be this 217.86 levels, able to hold 222.23 to 229.04. Unable to hold, we got 214.41 to 210.87 on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish neutral there. Microsoft, good looking chart. 242.52 pivot holds 245.52 to 249.57. Unable to hold 239.22. 339.25 to 335.81 downside. Earnings are good. It broke out of that range on the daily to the upside. It's got room for continuation here. We'll just see whether or not it wants to push up. I think it might pull like a little bit of a Netflix type of a move after the earnings, where it's just mainly consolidative. But of course, we'll wait and see what happens out the gate. So that's Tesla. That is Microsoft leaning bullish neutral on both. All right, let's take a screenshot of these two. Let's move on to the next. All right, next two guys, we got the Google and ASPA. The Google gapping down the earnings, which weren't terrible by any means, but I guess this name has been somewhat running and holding up quite well in the last, for a long time, actually. It's probably been one of the best looking of the FANG from a strength standpoint for quite some time. I mean, realistically, it hasn't really pulled back with the market. Let's take a look at this thing intraday here. We did get back below the 50 MA. to get back below all the short-term EMA support. Pivot to the upside today is going to be 130.65 level holds 131.80 to 130.392, which is going to be that 50 EMA area. Unable to hold 129.12, 127.45, leaning bullish neutral. I want to see that pivot reclaim and then push back towards that, like I said, 50 EMA spot on the upside. So that's Google. Let's take a look at ASPA. So nice little gap up on their earnings. I believe I need a fib on this one. Yes, I do. Maybe one of those ones I need to do a intraday fib, I think. Okay, so pivot to the upside today. We're gonna use that 24.91 levels able to hold to get room towards 30.09 to 34.39. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 18.73 to 15.05 on the downside, leaning bullish out the gate. And then I think we'll probably see a little bit of topping, but going to be leaning bullish for the most part on this one for a continued push to the upside. Kind of one of those, squeezer type names. So does look good for a push. That's Google. That's ASPA. Take a look at the last two, Vicker and BTA. So if that Vicker gapping down, then BTAI gapping up. This one's coming into that weekly range on the downside here. We'll see whether or not that level wants to hold. I like these types of charts. Gives you a lot of range both ways. That should be fine. All right, let's take a look at this thing today. All right, so Vicker, 43.12 pivot downside, levels able to be reclaimed 45.51 to 47.66, unable to hold 40.81 to 39.16. Going to be leaning bearish on this name, looking for continuation lower. I think it needs to retest that bottom end monthly range there. It's around that 39.16 spot, so that's what I'll be looking for continuation. Take a look at the BTAI. So 339 off the lows again. The former AI, running type of name as well. Or sorry, former Alzheimer's names that's been running as well. Seen a couple of these names report as of late too. Some data. Let's take a look at this one here. So pivot to the upside today. 314. Might have to be on the daily there. Yeah, I will. We'll keep it on the daily. Easier to see what's going on anyways. So 314 pivot levels able to hold 367 to 428. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 270 to 218 on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish. Looking for a continuation push higher today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that is BTA. That is Vicker, VICR. All right, let's screenshot these two. Let's go and move on to the FANG. All right, spine the FANG. Let's take a gander. SPY 423.03 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 424.84 to 426.12. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards the 421.17 spot to 79 spot. Sorry, to 420.33 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if we're able to get above that 423 level. So we'll watch that pivot point for continuation higher. Going to be a big level there on the upside. No, I don't mind the look of the SPY down here. It just needs to reclaim some EMA support for a continued bounce. And then obviously, we got other big names reporting this week, so it should be quite interesting to see how it acts today out the gate. Let's take a look at Apple. Now, Apple yesterday had some relative weakness right out the gate, if you guys remember. but that was quite notable. South Beach pointed it out. 171.98 pivot to the upside, level holds 173.91, 175.88, unable to hold 170, 168, 41 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if the pivot point is able to hold. We'll see what happens in that regard. That's Apple. Let's take a look at Amazon. $127.11 pivot, level holds 128.95, 131.87, unable to hold 128.528 to 122.58 on the downside. You're going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if that pivot point is able to hold as well. Amazon, let's take a look at Netflix. And I do like the look at Netflix for continuation today. 416.85 pivot, level holds 429.33. Unable to hold 406.18 to the 3898.20 on the downside, leaning bullish as well here. But needs to only really leaning bullish neutral if we can get above that pivot point. So that's going to be the big key. But it is starting to stair step higher after the earnings. Whoops. And last but not least, Meta and Google, but we've already done Google, so we'll just do Meta. Okay, so Meta 312.58, sorry, 312.85 pivot downside. Levels unable to hold 310.67, 305.86, able to hold. We got room for continuation on the upside into the 315.57 to 318.34. Going to be leaning bearish neutral, looking for continuation lower. All right, guys, so that's the spot. That's a FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to South Beach while I type up the pre-market action plan, and then we'll do a quick little recap for the open. South Beach is ready. Please, all yours for now, my friend. Give it a sec, guys. We'll pop on just a second here.
I'm talking without turning on the mic. Sorry, guys. Okay, so Wednesday hump day. Let's see what's going on this morning. Okay, let's go to the technicals. All right. SPYs, they have support here, but they have no EMA support. So I'm looking at 420 support on the S&P. And if it breaks that, I think it could go down to 410 pretty easily. On the weekly, we have EMA support. We're getting across, but it wasn't on a Monday. And I've explained to you guys, my rule is you have to have 2 Mondays of a 10-17 weekly cross for it to be a sell signal. So we didn't have one this Monday. So a lot can happen between now and Monday, as we know, right? So right now we have support at 420 on the 100-week moving average. It's broken all the other EMA supports that I look at, and we'll see if it holds. Okay, like I said before, if it breaks 420, it can go to 410 pretty quickly, but that's a big if, and I don't know the answer to that question yet. All right, on the Qs, which has been the best acting of the lot, there again, no EMA support on the daily, and we have EMA support like at the 352, 53, 54 level. If it broke 350, I'd get pretty concerned. But on the weekly, there is no cross. We're not getting a cross on Monday unless all hell breaks loose between now and Monday. So I'm, bearish to neutral on both the S&P, a little more bearish on the S&P, bearish to neutral on the Qs, a little more on the neutral side on that one. Then we look at the Russell, which is a outright, I'm bearish as shit. Okay, it looks terrible, no support. You have a little support on the weekly at these levels, but chart looks like shit. There's no sugarcoating it. And on the transports, that's not looking too healthy either. You have an EMA cross on, no support on the daily. You have an EMA cross on a Monday on the weekly, and actually two. So that's outright bearish on the transports, outright bearish on the Russell, and I gave you the other two already. Okay, the diamonds, I barely look at these things because it's not enough stocks to as a sample size to really matter. So I don't think it means a whole lot. So I try not to just, Dow Jones Industrial Average is really BS in my opinion. Okay, so that's the technicals, the way I look at them. So there are three things really that are affecting stock prices right now, right? We have geopolitics, which is probably arguably number one. Then we have the bond market, and then we have earnings. Okay, so this is earnings season. So really there's a confluence of stuff that changes the narrative by the minute. Okay, geopolitics, as we know, is, a moving target at the moment. The bond market, a little less so, and we're in earnings season. So there's a lot of stuff that keeps us on our toes right now. So looking at the bond market, we see yields up a little bit today, but listen, they were 5% on Monday, right? We traded off that level pretty quickly. We're at 488. I think 488 is not going to scare the shit out of anybody. Okay, if it traded above 5, I think you'd see a reaction on the downside. If it traded like at 475 level, it would probably be somewhat bullish. Okay. And the 210 spread, which I've been stressing based upon what Gunlock said and the way the market reacted, is becoming less important. Okay. We still have an inversion. It's only 20 basis points. It was 120 basis points, I think, at its high. And since that narrowed, the market has softened up. Maybe it's geopolitical, maybe it's, he called it before the geopolitics came into view, but by and large, rates are high. They're staying at these levels. I don't think these levels are so disruptive. If for those of you guys who've been doing this for a long time, we've seen higher and the market's been fine. Okay, so at these levels, do they present an opportunity for people to move money into bonds versus equity? Yeah, it does. But quite frankly, those 0 and 1 and 2 was more abnormal than the current rate cycles, 5%. This has been where they've been over time. So the bond market, geopolitics scares the hell out of me a lot more than the bond market does, to be honest, and earnings, of course. Looking overseas, we see rates inching up a little bit, like 0.05 across the yield curve. In most of the European, in London, it's like 0.03 up. Well, Germany, it's a little less, Italy, a little more, but basically rates are slightly higher, but they're not at their highs. We've seen these rates before, and that's the bond market. Okay. Commodity wise, oil is dead flat. We're seeing that range, that trading range, 80-90. We've seen two big acquisitions. I think unless there's a geopolitical event, which of course we can't, we have no idea. I think oil stays around these levels. Okay. As far as gold, silver, copper, nothing much going on today. Gold has been a pretty great investment, of the last few weeks. Copper has been in the trading range, and these agricultural commodities are not moving a whole lot. Okay. Forex currency market has been dollars strong this morning, practically against everything, right? Yeah. But there hasn't been a whole lot of volatility there. All right. The moves have been small as of late. Like the Chinese currency's been trading at like the 730 level for a while. Now it's 731.62. The euro's been trading 105, 106. That's where it is now. The pound at 121-ish. That's where it's trading now. So not a whole lot going on there either. Crypto's been a big mover, guys, and people are putting money because there's so much printing going on. So, I mean, I did say a month ago that I thought, even though I'm not a Bitcoin person, I understood the rationale for being in these things. And they've had a pretty decent run. Bitcoin's up almost 2% today. Ethereum's up 0.5%. Solana's up 10%. Okay. So this thing was what, 21 a few days, a couple of weeks ago. And now it's 33. So almost 50% move there. All right, let's look at the foreign markets. Pretty quiet, actually. Okay, the FTSE's up 0.2. The DAX is dead flat. Nikkei is up 0.5%. China's up 0.4. Hong Kong up 0.5, and Taiwan is up 0.3. Okay, so that's your backdrop. All right, banks and Fed, we have a quiet period for the Fed. We'll get a rate decision on the 1st. We have a 97% chance of no change. I would endorse that, of course. I don't think they're going to move up. I think these are the rates, okay? And I don't think they're going down, and I don't think they're going up. And I think, steady rates are probably a good thing by and large. Okay, so that's that. China and Russia we'll discuss in a second. Crypto, we did discuss Mr. Market yesterday. Let's see what we had yesterday. The Dow was up 200 points. The SPY was up 36. NASDAQ was up, and the transports were down 165. You know what I think of transports as a leading indicator, so I think that's that. As far as groups, we had high PE. Tech was decent. China was good. Semis were good. And on the bad side, negative side, we had big oil and gas. We had banks and airlines. Okay, so that was really the crux of it yesterday. All right, so what's going on today? Let's take a look. So it looks as though we have another person who wants to be Speaker of the House. The vibe I'm getting from all these guys on TV is this is the guy, and they're going to endorse him, it seems. His name is Mike Johnson. He's a Republican from Louisiana. Tom Emmer, who was some kind of like majority whip or some crap like that. Trump basically didn't endorse him, and he got the boot. And Trump endorsed this fella, and they seem to be huddling around him. He was on the side of the January 6th event, whether you think it was good or bad, as keeping Trump as president. That's probably why Trump endorsed him. And at the end of the day, like it or not, Trump is calling the shots for the Republican Party. Okay, and this is his guy, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. My hunch is he's going to get in, but what the hell do I know? That's just the body language I got from watching these jokers on TV. All right. China, they're talking in Bloomberg today that they're having some kind of policy shift. Xi's signaling that he won't tolerate this slowdown in growth and lingering deflation. He's trying to increase sovereign debt to pump up their economy. So that's what's going on in China. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that their defense person is coming to the U.S. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that the rumblings are he's coming to the U.S. I don't know. But that's what Bloomberg is talking about this morning. So that's that. Adjustable rate mortgages now seem to be the mortgage of choice. I don't really understand that, because the difference between the fixed rate mortgage of 790 and the adjustable of 699 is, only 1%, and you can always renegotiate the fixed rate mortgage. So, but those are the numbers. Okay, it's the lowest overall demand for mortgages since 95, and so on and so forth. Okay. 790 though is the number on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, conformable, which is like in the $800,000 neighborhood or less. Okay. Google shares dropped as they missed their cloud results were a little on the softer side, and Microsoft is ripping for just the opposite reason. Microsoft is attributing it to their AI platform. Google, I didn't hear the reasons other than the fact that their cloud numbers were softer than expectations, and the stock's taking it on the chin for that. Okay. Ukraine running out of time for this offensive. It feels like, in many respects, that this war is at a stalemate right now. Currently, the Russians have acquired or control 1/5 of the country. Boeing came out with earnings. Okay, their 737 MAX numbers were a little on the softer side. The 787 number was a little on the better side, but they gave a very optimistic view of free cash flow going out to 25, and that's really the main thing with Boeing. And if you believe management, this thing is just a screaming buy. All right. I don't know I think the guys that are running the show at Boeing are a bunch of numbskulls. And I really deplore the fact that they didn't go in there and clean house and put in, like legitimate people, kind of sort of like GE did. But they didn't. And that's a shame. But if you believe the numbers, 188 on Boeing is a freaking steal. I guess Twins is basically saying the same thing. All right, so that's Boeing. Meta is being sued by 42 attorney generals, basically alleging that their platforms are addictive. That's kind of laughable. It is, and if it is, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Okay. UAW is going to strike the real heart of General Motors, a profitable SUV plant in Texas. I don't know. Listen, some of you guys like unions, some of you guys don't. But the fact of the matter is, they did offer them a 20% increase, and I don't know what the right thing is. It's past my pay grade. Israel situation continues. We're hoping and watching if this intensifies into a regional situation or not. Interestingly enough, Saudi Arabia signaled this morning that they want to restart relations, negotiating, normalizing relations with Israel, which is kind of, I didn't know that until I was listening to the interview with the guy who started WeWorks, Newman. So I didn't see it anywhere other than he talked about it this morning. I don't know if you guys did or not didn't, but that's what he was saying. And he is in Saudi Arabia this morning, so maybe he knows what he's talking about. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Earnings wise. So we had Snap that was pretty decent, right? Microsoft, which was very good. Deutsche Bank beat the numbers. Timus. Boeing, I think, is an interesting story. Really interesting, actually. General Dynamics, very good. LRN, VRT, Coop, BDN, LTH, WAB, Robert Half, and IMAX. BTAI had positive PR on a drug. Vive got upgraded by Wells Fargo. Gap Stores also got upgraded by Wells Fargo. That stock's up on that. I don't really love Wells Fargo's research. And that's the story with that one. On the short side, we had more names that kind of sort of missed. We have Stifel Financial missed, SF, Hawaiian Air missed. This is an interesting story, guys. If this thing can stay, I mean, Hawaii will rebuild, and people are going to want to go there. So I find this one a little interesting. I don't know if the stock can hold out because it's been a troubled stock for a long time, but it missed. Texas Instruments missed. That's significant. This 3D again missed. CSGP, VICR, ATEC missed. They announced $150 million stock offering. When they announced the stock offering in dollars and not shares, there's more room to the downside. Always. So keep that in mind. That's a little tidbit of information. Manhattan Industries missed, Teladoc missed, and so on. Mara's doing a offering. PayPal and Square had disappointing worldwide usage and shit like that. Anyway, I'm out of time, so I'm gonna throw the ball back to Spartan. We'll see how things transpire today. Watch for geopolitical stuff, watch interest rates, and we have a lot of earnings tomorrow. Meta and IBM to top the list. Okay, and that's it for me. And Spartan, it's all yours.
Alrighty, thank you, South Beach guys. Morning, what's up? What's going on? Let's take a look at what we got going on today. So, if you guys are new to chat and you're done so, make sure you click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're gonna pop in a chat, so it looks something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on that disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you got a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys. Most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out in that regard. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels work on the left hand side, so you can properly navigate the chat throughout the day. That is important so you know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Continue to scroll down. We have the options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to the options ideas section. Definitely worth going through there. If you following along on the options ideas. SPX rules that we use every single day right there in the SPX ideas section. Pretty straightforward there. Any of the small account less than 10K, breaking down if you do a smaller account less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you can put in place so you can better manage your account. And last but not least, how to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective below that. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on today, guys. Pre-market tickers on watch, a couple different things. Everything's posted. So if you're watching the pre-market stream on the YouTube, you can just simply pause it and read these. Posted. And then you click on the options section, and Beth's done the options as well with all those levels, which is fantastic. Thank you. And yeah, let's just continue to scroll up here. We can take a look at what we got going on. So a couple things: Tesla, Microsoft, Google, ASPA, Vicker, and then BTAI. Tesla gapping down slightly. You can see the market. Microsoft gapping up on earnings. Google gapping down on earnings. ASPA gapping up on earnings. Vicker gapping down on earnings. And BTAI gains as independent audit validates Alzheimer's trial. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. First two, we're looking at Tesla and Microsoft. Let's have a look. So Tesla, guys, 217.86 pivot level holds 222.23 to 229.04. Unable to hold 214.41 to 210.87 downside, leading bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point's able to hold. Microsoft pivot. Let's just go to the intraday chart here. 342.52 level holds, 345.52, 349.57. Unable to hold 339.25 to 335.81 on the downside, leading a bullish neutral there if that pivot point is able to hold. Let's take a look at Google. Let's take a look at ASPA. Google, guys, 130.65 pivot level holds 131.80 to 133.92. One sec, guys. Uh, 133.92, unable to hold 129.12 to 127.45 on the downside, leading bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today. At ASPA 24.91 pivot level holds 30.09 to 34.39, unable to hold to 18.74 to 15.05, leading bullish neutral there if we can get above that pivot point. And last but not least, guys, Vicker and BTAI. VICR pivot to the downside 43.12, unable to hold 40.81 to 39.16, able to hold 45.51 to 47.66 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bearish neutral side there if that pivot point's unable to hold. And last but not least, guys, BTAI 314 pivot levels able to hold. We got room towards 367. That level breaks. I believe it's 428. Yeah. Unable to hold 270 to 218 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if that pivot point is able to hold. So That is that. Let's take a look at Spine the Fang as we usually do. So market guys. I don't know my pivot point. Yeah, okay. So that will 423.03 pivot levels able to hold 424.84 to 426.12, unable to hold 421.79 to the 420.33 level on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish neutral if we can get above that pivot point, looking for a continuation push higher. Let's take a look at Apple here. Apple pivot to the upside today, 171.98 level holds 173.91, 175.58, 175.88. Unable to hold 170.29, 168.41 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Only if that pivot point's able to hold. Amazon pivot upside today, 127.11 levels able to hold 128.95, 131.87. Unable to hold 125.28 to 122.58 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Only if that pivot point's able to hold as well. Netflix pivot 416.85 level holds 429.33. Unable to hold 406.18 to 398.20, leaning bullish neutral. If we can get above that pivot, Meta pivot to the downside today is going to be the 312.85. Unable to hold 310.67 to 305.86. Able to hold 315.57 to 318.34 on the upside. Leaning bearish neutral there. Ready to do Google. So let's do the VIX, Qs, and IWMs. So VIX pivot, guys, is going to be right here. 1927 level holds 2015, 2118. Unable to hold 1863 to 1810. A little bit of a downtrend test up the gate this morning, so we'll keep an eye on that. QQQs 358.60 level holds 362.51 to 365.44. Unable to hold 355.35 to 350.47 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral only if we can get above that pivot, which is at 358.60 level, of course. And last but not least, guys, let's take a look at the SPX. Uh, 42.55, low holds 42.78 to 42.97. Unable to hold 42.32 to 42.13 on the downside, and I'm leaning bullish neutral there if the pivot point is able to hold. So that is that. That's the spot. That's the thing. Those are the individual names that we are looking at today. Should be an interesting one. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the market's in an interesting spot where if it does reclaim EMA support, we could see a continued push back to the upside. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Anyways, guys, if you did pop into the YouTube stream, thanks for watching today. We do this every single Wednesday. If you guys want to come trade with us all day long, you certainly can do so. Go to spartantrading.com. You can sign